October 8th, 2025, 3:42 p.m. local time, South China Sea. Two Chinese Type 052D destroyers surged through blue water at nearly 27 knots, bows slicing the swell clean in half. Their heading isn't random. It's aimed straight at a U.S. Navy destroyer, the USS John Finn, DDG-113, conducting a routine freedom of navigation transit through international waters. From the bridge of the John Finn, the situation looks calm. Too calm. Radar shows two large surface contacts closing in from the northwest. Range, 24 nautical miles. Speed, rising. Bearings, converging. Before we continue, I would like to mention that this video is sponsored by World of Warships, the naval combat game that's free to play on PC and that just launched a massive update celebrating the 250th anniversary of the US Navy. Right now, players can build their own Liberty Harbor, an interactive naval base where you unlock historic ships, missions, and rewards inspired by real US Navy milestones. Join today using my link below and the code STEPUP250 to instantly receive the American Tier 3 cruiser St. Louis, 20 days of premium account time, and a bundle of in-game bonuses worth millions of credits. Whether you command a destroyer, cruiser, or aircraft carrier, the realism is stunning. With over 40 maps, dynamic weather, and some of the most detailed warships ever created. So if you love realistic naval action, check the link in the description. Join the fleet and start building your own Liberty Harbor today. Within seconds, the Combat Information Center confirms what the crew already suspects. These aren't fishing vessels, and they're not escorts. They're Chinese naval warships, and they're moving in with purpose. At this speed, the distance collapses fast. Every minute, the gap shrinks by nearly half a mile. Cameras zoom in, hull numbers 172 and 175. Both Luoyang 3 class guided missile destroyers, each packing 64 vertical launch cells and long-range anti-ship missiles. On any other day, that's just hardware. But today, the question is intent. The John Finn maintains course. Steady, deliberate. Her mission is simple. Transit lawfully, record everything, and react to nothing. Yet when two warships approach at an intercept angle without a single radio hail, it stops being routine. Bridge to CIC communication crackles through the comms net. Two planned contacts bearing 301 and 328. CPA under 5 nautical miles. No response to initial hails. Down in CIC, sailors switch from monitoring to full observation mode. Optical sensors online. The SLQ-32 electronic warfare suite begins passively recording every radar pulse coming off the Chinese ships. From the captain, maintain posture, no course deviation, let them show intent. Above deck, the ocean feels tighter. The crew can sense the approach even before they see it. The Chinese destroyers aren't shadowing, they're intercepting. Bow on, engines roaring, wakes foaming white. No signals, no excuses. In less than 10 minutes, 3 warships, armed, alert, and watching each other's every move, will share the same patch of sea. And only one of them is talking. 3:51 p.m. The range collapses to just 12 nautical miles. On board the USS John Finn, tension isn't visible, but it is everywhere. The officer of the deck calls out bearings as the Chinese destroyers continue closing, their wakes stretching long behind them. Every adjustment they make is deliberate, a slow, steady push across the invisible line between transit and intercept. Bridge hails go out again, this time bilingual. Chinese naval vessel, this is the United States warship conducting lawful transit in international waters. Alter course immediately to avoid unsafe approach. Then again in Mandarin, calm, precise. Nothing. No response, no light signals, no AIS transmission. The Combat Information Center logs every second. Screens glow with radar sweeps and sensor data. Two contacts tagged, track Sierra 09 and Sierra 12. Speed steady at 26 knots, closest point of approach projected under 3 nautical miles. The John Finn's bridge crew isn't panicking. This isn't their first encounter in these waters. But this one feels different. Both Chinese destroyers are holding parallel vectors. Not following, not crossing, just pressing forward head-on. Contact behavior is intentional, reports the Surface Watch officer. Maintain ROE, Phase 1, passive observation only, the captain replies. That's Navy code for stay cool, keep documenting. Optical and infrared cameras pivot automatically. High-resolution zoom confirms crew on deck, helmets on, small arms visible but slung, standard show of force posture. Inside the CIC, the SLQ-32 electronic warfare suite begins picking up faint emissions. Surface search radar, likely Type 364, pinging across multiple frequencies. The Chinese ship is scanning, not targeting, yet. Bridge, CIC. Plan vessel is on active X-band surface mode. No fire control tone detected. Captain nods. Log it. To port, the second Chinese destroyer begins to angle slightly closer, adjusting course by 3 degrees. A small change, but enough to tighten the geometry. CPA now 2.7 nautical miles, the OOD calls out. That's inside comfort range. Every camera, every radar, every microphone on the John Finn is now recording. Because in the South China Sea, facts are the first weapon. The captain leans forward, eyes on the horizon. They want us to flinch, he says quietly. Then louder, firm, calm, final. Maintain course. No deviation. 3:57 p.m. The sea between the ships has turned into a chessboard. Every knot, every bearing change, every radar pulse is a move, and both sides know it. On the John Finn, the captain authorizes visible posture elevation. No aggression, just presence. The forward 5-inch Mark 45 gun rotates 5 degrees starboard. Slow and deliberate. It's not locked, it's not loaded. It's just visible enough for the Chinese bridge crew to see it swing. That is a message by itself. Topside, sailors move into pre-assigned watch stations. 250 caliber mounts manned, safety's on. The CRAM launcher hums as it runs its system check. None of this is provocative, all of it is recorded. Down in the CIC, the air hums with calm precision. EW reports continued radar illumination from both contacts. Frequency unchanged, range now 8.1 nautical miles. The SLQ-32 V6 suite keeps logging the emissions, building a full picture of Chinese radar patterns. Each pulse adds data. Who's scanning, what mode they're using, and how aggressive their systems are. The ship's rules of engagement remain clear. Observe, log, deter, do not provoke. From the bridge to flight deck, set Seahawk Condition 1. Maintain readiness. No launch without authorization. The order goes out across the ship. On the flight deck, the MH-60R Seahawk crew snaps into prep mode. Rotors unfolded, power checks complete, systems on standby. On radar, the two Chinese destroyers hold course, still converging. Their wake patterns show no signs of turning. This isn't an accidental pass, it's a controlled approach, a show of reach and confidence. The Seahawk is the U.S. Navy's all-seeing eye. Under its belly, the MX-20 FLIR camera locks onto the two Chinese destroyers. Every heat plume, every radar mast, every movement on deck recorded in crystal clear infrared. The feed beams directly to the Combat Information Center below, filling giant monitors with real-time visuals. Visual confirmation, hull numbers 172 and 175, reports the sensor operator. Multiple crew visible on both decks. Weapons unmanned, radar antennas active. From 800 feet up, the formation looks surgical. The Chinese destroyers are sailing side by side, their wakes cutting mirror images through the sea. Between them, the USS John Finn, holding position like a stone, steady, silent, and watching. Then comes the first cue. The Seahawk's green laser designator pulses twice. a non-lethal signal aimed directly across the lead destroyer's bridge windows. It's subtle, but unmistakable. We see you. We're ready. Seconds later, the helicopter tilts slightly, shifting its infrared spotlight to the second ship. The light reflects off the superstructure, tracing the plan emblem painted near the bow. Below, sailors aboard the Chinese destroyer react. Movement on deck, helmets glinting under the sun. A few crew members take up observation positions beside their main gun, hands near binoculars. No weapons are manned, but their body language says enough. They're not backing off either. In the CIC, the mood stays analytical. Seahawk maintaining 0.7 nm lateral distance. All actions within ROE, confirms the tactical watch officer. The U.S. destroyer isn't shouting, jamming, or threatening. It's showing discipline. Because in naval language, visibility is deterrence. And nothing speaks louder than a helicopter hovering in silence, recording every move you make. 4:06 p.m. The Seahawk holds its orbit at 600 feet. Sensors locked on target. Down below, the two Chinese destroyers adjust formation. Slightly tighter now, barely a cable apart. The lead ship's radar shifts tone, its emission pattern rising in frequency. Bridge, CIC, Chinese radar just switched to active surface tracking. No fire control tone yet, but they're painting us, reports the electronic warfare officer. The room stays calm. Every sailor knows what that means. The Chinese ship isn't just watching, it's taking measurements. Range, bearing, cross-section. The captain leans over the comms console. Copy, maintain passive mode, let them record what professionalism looks like. Outside, the scene feels like a mirror. Two destroyers facing two realities. One side showing muscle, the other side showing control. Suddenly, a burst of Mandarin crackles over VHF Channel 16. You are entering waters under Chinese jurisdiction. Adjust your heading immediately. CIC logs the transmission. Auto timestamped, archived. Seconds later, the John Finn responds, voice steady and clear. Chinese naval vessel, this is United States warship conducting legal operations in international waters as permitted under international law. Your actions are unsafe. Recommend you alter course immediately. No raised voices, no threats, just procedure. Language built for diplomacy under pressure. From the Seahawk's vantage point, the reaction is visible. The Chinese bridge crew pauses. One sailor waves a signal flag briefly, then lowers it. The lead destroyer throttles down, wake shortening, engines dropping from 26 knots down to 22. Contact speed decreasing, reports the Seahawk pilot, CPA widening to 3.2 nautical miles. The tension doesn't vanish, it just exhales. Both ships still track each other with sensors, but the geometry is shifting. The intercept angle softens, the collision course becomes a parallel run. In the CIC, the mood lightens slightly. They're backing off, someone murmurs. But the captain doesn't celebrate. He watches the monitor and says quietly, no one wins a standoff, you just decide when it ends. 4:12 p.m. The ocean settles into rhythm again. Engines droning, waves breaking clean against steel hulls. The Chinese destroyers are still there, but now they've widened to a safe 4 nautical miles. Their bow angles ease outward, creating separation without turning away completely. A classic face-saving maneuver. Not retreat, but acknowledgement. The Seahawk maintains altitude, orbiting low and steady. Its FLIR cameras keep both ships in frame as the captain's voice comes through the headset. Maintain visual contact. Log until further course diversions. Down below, the USS John Finn returns to quiet professionalism. Cameras still rolling, sensors still listening, deck crews still at stations, but the tension has thinned. At 4:15 p.m., the Chinese ships finally alter to a reciprocal heading, sliding back towards the north, away from the American destroyer's lane. Their radar tone fades, emissions softening to navigation-only mode. Contacts diverging, CPA now 6.3 nautical miles, the CIC reports. No flares, no warnings, no radio drama, Just two navies stepping back from the edge without saying the word. Enough. The captain of the John Finn watches from the bridge wing, eyes on the vanishing silhouettes. Presence was the weapon, he mutters. Patience was the armor. The Seahawk banks one final turn and then heads home. In the end, nothing exploded. There were no missiles, no shouting, just discipline. The quiet kind that speaks louder than any gun. Because sometimes dominance at sea isn't about firepower, it's about restraint. And the proof that you never had to use it. This encounter didn't happen in a vacuum. It's part of a growing pattern in the South China Sea. A region now crowded with steel, sovereignty claims, and strategy. Over the past few months, China's People's Liberation Army Navy, or PLAN, has sharply increased its tempo. More patrols through disputed zones, more shadowing of foreign vessels, and more close approaches. Deliberate, fast, and camera-ready. These aren't random encounters, they're messages. In late September 2025, satellite imagery showed at least 6 planned warships conducting formation drills near the Paracel Islands, just 200 miles from where the USS John Finn operated this week. 2 new Type 039C submarines were also reported active in the same area, marking China's largest undersea deployment in nearly a decade. For Washington, it's a test of resolve. The U.S. Navy's freedom of navigation missions aren't about confrontation. They're about consistency. If the Navy changes course every time China signals displeasure, the precedent shifts. So each time an American ship like the John Finn sails straight and steady, it's not just navigation, it's policy and motion. Because out here, every course line drawn on radar is more than a path, it's a statement. This wasn't a drill, it was a message, and in these waters, messages travel at around 28 knots. So here's today's question. Should the U.S. Navy start pushing back harder against these Chinese intercepts, or should they just keep proving that calm wins the day? Drop your thoughts below, we read every one. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next real-world encounter at sea. And if you want to go a step further and support the channel directly, please join the fleet so you can get loyalty badges, priority responses, and you'll be helping us bring more true maritime stories to the surface. Click join on our channel page and get on board. Because out here, even patience moves fast. See you in the next one.